Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley come out winning as they don't return for the new installment of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Just like almost any of the previous installments with too much plot, I'll save your time informing you of this one other than Jack Sparrow, Barbossa, and Mr. Gibbs return, while new characters are introduced like Jack's former lover, Angelica, played by Penelope Cruz, and her father, Captain Blackbeard, played by Ian McShane. All these characters are trying to find the fountain of youth for what it grants, but also for who seeks it to get revenge. Now, I loved the first film. It was new, fresh, and exciting. The story was easy enough to follow. Hans Zimmer provided a memorable score, which the series sadly derives from now, and of course, Depp made the iconic role that is Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow. Sorry, Jack. Even though he's not really a captain, whatever, it doesn't really matter. The sequels that followed had several problems. Number one too many double crosses to the point where you're not sure who to root for or even who to care about. Number 2, action sequences that are well crafted, but go on to the point of exhaustion. Number 3, whatever breathing room there is, it is filled with generally boring exposition. And number 4, convoluted storytelling. This fourth installment feels slightly less problematic than the previous two in terms of story elements, but it also feels smaller. Too smaller, actually, after the bloated, epic, but mostly conclusive At World's End. The stakes just aren't high enough, and after the film reaches around the midpoint where our protagonists, if you can call them that, are confronted by mermaids, the film gradually fizzles out. Thankfully, the film is considerably shorter, but I still found it tedious and tiresome, and even more disjointed than any of the other installments. From a storytelling point, I found Dead Man's Chest and At World's End to be lazy by oddly throwing far too much in. Still, director Gore Verbinski knew how to construct better action sequences that had more of actual beats of an action sequence. Director Rob Marshall, who has directed musicals like Chicago and 9, in some regards, seems like the perfect choice to direct the film. It's big, loud, values production quality, and requires choreography, but he's just not the right choice. After the dullness of 9 and now this, Rob Marshall must be going through some sort of midlife career crisis. Depp's role has gone stale, and he will never be able to recreate the spontaneity, the charisma, and the originality he had when he first took on the role. Many will differ, but I do believe Cruz offers some chemistry with Depp, besides just her sexy accent and her other assets. I was relatively pleased with Ian McShane as the villain, as he wasn't completely wasted, though he doesn't hold a candle to the series' first bad guy, and now regular of the series, Barbossa. However, in this film, it is a complete waste of Rush's talents, who doesn't get to interact with the rest of the cast for the most part, to his and Depp's disadvantage, since the two work so comedically well together. To replace the young lovers that Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley filled out, the film features a captive missionary who falls in love with a mermaid he names Serena. I can't imagine anyone really liking this subplot. Aside from the well-done mermaid sequence, the film kicks off things well enough, but after the initial 20 minutes have passed, you realize what you're in store for will have few, if any, surprises as it goes through the motions. Sparrow notes the importance of the journey and not the destination. How fitting for this film, as little is accomplished or gained by the end of the film, making me ask, what was the point of all that? So then I guess we have to contemplate the journey. Unfortunately, the journey wasn't much fun either. Let's face it, if you love or really enjoy this series, which is fine, you'll most likely enjoy this. You know what you're in store for, and it's what you want. For those whose interest has been waning over the years on Stranger Tides, probably won't change that. Though I have heard differently, with many people feeling that this is the best installment since the first, I have no comment on that because I'm essentially undecided. I don't know if this is a step up or a step down, but I can safely say I wouldn't see this again, and I have very little, if any, interest in seeing future installments. It's not a terribly insulting sequel from Hollywood, it's just a terribly unremarkable one that should have remained on paper. The ship has long sailed, and I hope Jack Sparrow and his pirate friends can catch up so I can wave goodbye. Hell, I'll even escort them and their luggage on board. Still, I'm going to give the film just barely a rent it. You could do worse. That's it from the Movie Rewind. Have a good day, folks. Until next time.